Hello, hello, Facebook Live. It's Tanya Cowie here with Aspire Body and Mind with day 11 of the Self Discovery Challenge, where every day I pose a question to bring you closer to your purpose or where you want to go in life. And I'm like super jiggly and happy today because the question is, what do you fear and how can you overcome it? And a crazy thing is I'm actually creating a program for fear, based out of fear. And my fear is the fear of missing out. I've overcome a lot of other fears that I had through my coaching, which is like being afraid to be seen, which wasn't just through coaching. I actually do things. I've done things like get up on stage in front of 1,000 people and teach Zumba. And, those kinds of little confrontations of facing those little fears has helped me, but hasn't completely gotten rid of them. Like I can get up in public speak in front of a group of strangers. I can get up and speak in front of a group of people with a topic that's kind of off the head that I want to talk about, but I can't speak in front of a bunch of people that I know, and I can't speak on a topic that I have to study for hours and hours and hours and come up with like an actual 5-minute formal speech or something like that. Like I struggle with that. That actually comes from having an open throat center as a human design. So today's question about what do you fear and how can you overcome it like tickled me because I've only been working on this project for 3 days. And how do you overcome it? Well, there's many things that you can do to overcome it, but the first thing you need to know is be aware of it. And some people have a fear of being in front of people because they are afraid of being seen, they're afraid of being heard, they don't feel like they're good enough. Am I enough? What will happen if I make a mistake? There's other kinds of fears that come up there, like almost like anxiety. You can have an anxiety driven fear. And the thing with an anxiety driven fear is that that's usually something that you're projecting into the future. So if you're thinking about something that might happen, like you might be late for something in 3 days and you're thinking about it, you might get anxiety worrying about all the possibilities that could happen that's going to create these things for you, then you're going to worry that you're late. And these things may or may not happen. And it can actually, those anxieties come up in a lot of people with a lot of different things, which is why these videos are meant to be quite short and they're meant to deep dive into you. So I want you to deep dive into the things for you, but also taking into consideration maybe something that I bring up because it's an unconscious thing, especially when it's anxiety. A lot of people have a fear and they say that it's a fear, and then when you really think about it, a fear is something that's like it has happened. Some fears are anxiety based and they are things that you're projecting, but then there's the fear like if you don't know how to swim, would you climb in water? Probably not, because you have a fear of drowning. That's not projecting that you're going to drown. You actually just don't know how to swim, so that's an actual fear. You can solve it. Maybe you're never an athletic swimmer, but you can still solve that if that's what you choose. And you don't have to choose to change all of your fears. I chose to get up and teach Zumba because I love dancing and it made sense to do what I was doing at the time. So I'm really excited about the program that I'm developing about getting through your fears because I'm still working on my fear of missing out. And that has to do with, that's another thing about fears. Fears can be like my fear of missing out, like knowing where that came from, what your belief system is behind it, your own personality has things to do with that too. My fear of missing out comes from always working a shift where everybody else can go out and do whatever they wanted to do, missing out on dinners, missing out. For 13 years, I worked an overnight shift that was 24 hours, 7 days a week. I missed out on every holiday, every Thanksgiving, every Christmas. And in the beginning, I didn't have the fear of missing out. The fear of missing out got stronger and stronger every year that not even every year, I'd have to say 5 years later, every 5 years you look and you go, whoa, where did the person go that I was spoke to, 5 years ago when I was able to attend this event with the family? Because everybody changes over 5 years, and you feel like you've only missed a year or two, and then you start to realize, oh, I've missed so many events, or I've missed so much because of this. And then now something is coming up, or you know something is coming up, and you're going to worry that you're going to miss out on it. In my case, I worry that I'm not going to get to do something because I'm doing something else. So because I choose to run a business, I might miss out on going out to dinner on Mondays and Wednesday nights, because that's when I do my practice a little bit later into the evening. I take evening calls. So I mean, generally I don't have a fear of missing out because I love doing that. But if it was a consistent Monday to Sunday thing where every single night I was scheduled to take calls in the evening, I would really have to look at my belief system. Like, am I missing out, or is this something I want to be doing and want to be taking part in? So yeah, I don't have a lot of fears. I actually did on Monday a challenge where I yelled out, "I am fearless," for 20 seconds, and I've yet to do the next one. I'm going to cluck like a chicken or walk around like a chicken because that's part of not being fearless, and I'm going to record that for 20 seconds. The issue is I don't want to do it in my basement when nobody's around, because that's not taking any fear out of my life whatsoever to act like a fool in public. But I mean, doing Zumba on stage, and what happens if you trip, or what happens if you forget your move or something like that. And I have to say that thank goodness that never happened. I only had that fear for maybe the first few classes. But the fear of teaching in front of a new class class of 10 people that I've never met before, I was kind of in the fear that maybe they wouldn't like my style. And you know what? It came up a couple times where people didn't, and they left, and I felt it. I let it go through my system, and I kept moving on, because there's lots of people who did like my style. And if nobody liked my style, well, I liked my style. So really, where's the fear? Where's the fear coming from? What kind of fear is it? Is it like a belief system? Is it an anxiety? Like, were you raised that, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that, so now you're afraid to? Or is it that you have the anxiety because something happened and you're afraid it's going to happen again? Or anxiety that something catastrophic is going to happen that has never happened before, but it's a possibility. It is a possibility. But when you think in the realms of possibility, trying to be positive rather than thinking of the negative is always helpful in that way. Anyway, this is probably the longest live. I have no idea what all of the questions are. From here on in, I actually don't know what any of the questions are. I knew what a couple were in the beginning because I started this myself and then stopped. So I don't know what they are, but this might be the longest conversation that I have on a Facebook Live, because I'm passionate about this, fighting fears, fighting automatic negative thought responses, and working in the realm of changing belief systems. Those are things that are near and dear to me. And actually, I have 2 programs hopefully coming out next year, early in the year. One is money manifesting and beliefs around money, and the other one is about fear and how to get around fear. So that's really cool. Anyway, I hope to see you again. If you're watching the replay, #replay, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.